What happens when the earth dies or suffers a terrible misfortune? What happens when the long talon of fate claws through the skin of the earth, uprooting trees and buildings and everything on its path? What happens when the earth is bruised and bleeding? Well, in Anambra State, the earth bleeds in so many different communities, but the administration of His Excellency, Governor Willie Obiano, through the Anambra State Nigeria Erosion and Watershed Management Project, NEWMAP, has successfully stitched some of these major wounds with the muscular support of the World Bank.
With 4,844 square meters, Anambra State is the second smallest state in Nigeria, next to Lagos. But like His Excellency Chief Willie Obiano will always say, whereas Lagos is expanding its own territories, Anambra is losing its own space to gully and watershed erosion. Now, NEWMAP was created by the federal government to help tackle this. NEWMAP was there before His Excellency came into office, but it was more or less going nowhere. His Excellency breathed life into it, pays the counterpart fund, and then the agency became, I would say, fully operational. What is required to be done is about 5 sites, but at the last count, the state was able to do about 12 or 13 major erosion sites. With 960 something plus erosion sites, we are just scratching, 13 is just scratching it on the surface.
Indeed, after 7 years of thinking out of the box and drying the tears of the people whose lives have been ripped apart by the rage of nature, the Anambra offices of NEWMAP can look back with pride and count how many broken lives have been healed.
In terms of numbers, we're talking about 25,000 beneficiaries across the entire state. Specifically with erosion intervention, we're talking about 13 communities spread across the 3 geopolitical zones. And these interventions are not just limited to erosion direct intervention, but we're also discussing issues across that involves flood control.
With over 1,000 gully erosion sites, no other state contests Anambra's unflattering title as the erosion capital of Nigeria. This has even prompted the governor of Anambra State, Chief Willie Obiano, to cry out to the federal government to declare Anambra an ecologically endangered zone. But the story is different today. The landscape is changing. Some of the monstrous gully sites in the state have been stitched up so nicely that they bear no marks of the horror they once presented. Healing has come to the land. NEWMAP has lifted up the healing rod over troubled landscapes and taken the pestilence away.
NEWMAP came with a system that looks at the causes as well as look at the effects of these man-made activities, including even the natural factors such as climate change, and integrated the whole of this on a case-by-case basis for each gully system.
To understand the impact that NEWMAP has had so far in Anambra State, we must remember that when the project was established on the 26th of June 2014, the mandate handed to it was to take care of 5 gully erosion sites. That was the international benchmark for excellent performance. Interestingly, the project has since surpassed this benchmark as it has intervened on 13 highly important sites. With this performance, NEWMAP has exceeded all expectations in Anambra State. While there are enough gully erosion sites in Anambra to keep NEWMAP busy for many years, the project has done tremendous work on the following sites: the St. Thomas Aquinas / Nero Plaza Oka, the Amashala site Oka, the New Heritage Omoba site Onitsha,
the Ekweme Square / Federal Secretariat Complex Oka,
the Ogamoma site in Obosi, the Ikengo Gidi site, the Enugu Uku site, the Abidu Moji site, the Mpo flyover site, the Nnewichi site, the Ojoto site, the Irobosi site, and the Abagana site.
The befores and afters are very dramatically different. It just tells you the sheer amount of intervention and the transformation that has happened. One other example we can readily provide is the Abidi Umoji village in Idemili North local government. I mean, the community themselves will tell you in very, uncertain language that they have been transformed from an erosion ravaged community to one that has now been opened in terms of access road and provision of facilities to allow them become a much integrated part of the community in Anambra State as well.
I happen to be one of the people compensated by the World Bank. And the compensation I got was from the parcel of land I was having up there. And joyfully, after that, I used the money to buy another land because I don't have any land, so to keep for my children. So, in fact, if you look at my face, I don't think you will say these people, this person or the Umoji as a whole is not happy. We are very, very happy over what the NEWMAP has done, or rather what they are doing. So, I thank you people, and my prayer is that God continue to strengthen NEWMAP as an organization.
Ironically, while it is easy to see a landscape devastated by erosion, it is not often easy to see the long list of broken lives and livelihoods it leaves in its trail. In fact, a rough estimate shows that no fewer than 150,000 people who were uprooted and flung apart by erosion have been rehabilitated and given a new chance to dream in Anambra State. This was achieved through the agency's Livelihood Support Initiative program, which ensures that scars inflicted by erosion are permanently healed on the soil and in the lives of victims.
So you have people who previously had lost their farmland to erosion are now being given grants to start fish farming, to start palm oil kind of processing, to start piggeries, and so forth and so on. I mean, the stories are abound, and these women and children, especially widows who before now had given up hope in life, are now, able to, have some decent living and earn decent income to support their families because of these livelihood enhancements that have been provided as part of the intervention. So we are dealing with the erosion itself, and we're also dealing with the people impacted by the erosion.
Special consideration was given to widows and women who were breadwinners of their respective families and other vulnerable groups made more vulnerable by the menace.
I'm so happy to have this opportunity because I've learned a lot from it. Through the training, I'll be able to raise up a good number of fishes. And I thank God for the NEWMAP and their effort to see that at least this erosion now, they maintained it, that it didn't swallow us. I am very grateful that they gave us opportunity in giving us money to just to raise up something that will help us in life.
I'm part of the poultry, Success Poultry here. We have been managing this poultry since 2015. This is the 5th round. We have been brooding. We have been managing it, selling it, sharing chicken, and sharing profits. We are so thankful to them. Without them, we don't know what will have happened. We thank God for using them to rescue us from this erosion and even providing a livelihood for us. And even the governor, we are so grateful to all of you. We thank you all.
Families who were uprooted both physically and emotionally have been resettled and restored. They have been given a second chance. Remarkably, 55% of the beneficiaries of these interventions were women.
In fact, I am now employed. Initially, I wasn't, but now I'm employed and I'm happy and I have something doing. NEWMAP has actually impacted into me how to raise snails. So I'm grateful to NEWMAP for what they have done for me and my members too. And you keep on doing it because you have rescued lives. Honestly, you have helped us. And say thanks to the government too for what they have done, for bringing people here to Anambra.
All these were masterfully executed under the Livelihood Support Initiative of the program. Nevertheless, the question often asked is, why did NEWMAP succeed so well in Anambra State? What did the Anambra offices of NEWMAP do differently?
So many trainings. They are taking us to Asaba for the training, taking us to Oka several times for training, even to Abuja. We have gone for training, and with those training we have benefited a lot. They paid what they call RAP to the entire people living in the building. They paid all of the tenants. They paid RAP to this very church. They paid RAP to all this building. They did so, and with that RAP, their lives were changed. They came back to life again and begin to manage themselves again.
The number one factor behind the success of NEWMAP in Anambra State is the support of the government of Anambra State for the project. NEWMAP is a partnership that works best when the beneficiary state assumes the role of the project champion and begins to lead from the front. That is what has happened in Anambra State. From the very beginning, the Obiano administration accepted NEWMAP as a critical success factor and accorded it unwavering support. This boosted the confidence of the project
and enabled it move with greater firmness,
in full awareness that the awesome muscle of the state was behind it. Another factor that gave fillip to the success of NEWMAP in Anambra State is the creativity and drive demonstrated by the project in diagnosing the scenarios before it and applying critical solutions to issues. A clear example of this is the establishment of a road design committee by the Anambra State government, which arose from a crucial input from NEWMAP. From studies, the agency discovered that most of the gully sites across the state were caused by poorly terminated drainages. Rising from this, the project persuaded the government to set up a road design committee that would ensure that all drainages from road projects are properly terminated in nearby streams or natural waterways. This move has taken care of future threats to the environment from building roads without attention to proper channeling of water.
We have improved our method of road construction by being very careful how drains are terminated, because these were some of the causes. So I remember at TSQ there was a time the Ministry of Works was mandated, and I believe they did that work, to look at the termination of drains in all roads that have been constructed and see whether any of them were contributing to the gully erosions and come up with remedial action. Some of them have been done already.
Then comes its holistic watershed intervention approach, which involves a combination of hard and flexible structures that include civil works and bioremediation complemented with the human factor. Bioremediation is the use of biological material and biological procedure to remediate or mitigate an environment devastated by gully erosion. By integrating real and bioremediation, multi-purpose trees, shrubs, and grasses are chosen and carefully planted. Such interventions are laced with proper drainages to suck off the storm water. This has proven to be very useful because of its ability to address, prevent, and reverse land degradation for the long term. Similarly, NEWMAP demonstrated a high degree of pragmatism and foresight in conceptualizing a less troublesome future for the environment of Anambra State. The project has successfully facilitated the emergence of Anambra State Erosion Watershed and Climate Change Agency to tackle the threat on a permanent basis. With an institution like this, Anambra would be better able to originate and implement different initiatives on erosion, watershed, and climate change management, as well as attract development agencies who always insist on a structured approach to environmental issues. This is very important.
The recent establishment of the Anambra Erosion, Watershed and Climate Change Agency, it really exemplifies Governor Obiano's commitments to environmental governance. I mean, it tells you that this administration is truly committed to ensuring that Anambra communities experience climate resilience one community at a time.
Another major aspect of NEWMAP's success story in Anambra comes from its creation and effective use of town hall meetings for its outreach. This platform has helped the project to lead the awareness creation campaign from the front, tackle dispute resolution without much trouble, and ensure a smooth operation on sites and locations without serious challenges that could have been created by the intended beneficiaries of its interventions. Similarly, the project has engaged focal non-governmental organizations to deepen its campaign against erosion. These agents undertake organized tours of different communities to sensitize inhabitants on the little unacceptable practices that could cause gully erosion. However, one of the most potent weapons in the arsenal of NEWMAP so far has been its bioremediation and soil regeneration campaigns. This is the healing touch that restores ravaged landscapes and reintegrates them into the wider ecology of the region. When bioremediation and soil regeneration is done well, the earth gets a chance to breathe again. NEWMAP has also blazed an incredible trail in creating massive awareness on global warming and climate change. In fact, the project has effectively distributed 27,000 energy-saving bulbs, which will help in reducing greenhouse emissions and global warming. This is in addition to the over 16,000 energy-efficient cook stoves that NEWMAP wants to distribute, in line with the climate change response component, which aims at reducing greenhouse gas emissions and preserving eco-balance. NEWMAP also played a formidable role in the Onitsha Urban Stormwater Management Master Plan, which has been completed 100%.
The Onitsha Urban Stormwater Master Plan has been completed across the three major local governments that surround the Onitsha North and Onitsha South local constituencies. We can now scale up to include specific interventions in the areas of climate change, as well as low carbon alternative developments with the assistance of the Special Climate Change Fund, which was attracted by the Obiano administration as well.
With this milestone, there are high hopes that perennial threats posed by raging water storm in Onitsha and environs will soon become a thing of the past.
We have been attacked in terms of ecological disaster from two ends. One is inland erosion, the other is watershed erosion, dealing with communities and local government along the Niger and Tezu River axis. So that's a major problem we face in the state.
However, the installation of automated early flood warning system and hydromet stations in flood-prone communities in Anambra State comes across as revolutionary in its own right. Under the Disaster Risk Management Initiative, NEWMAP has successfully installed these devices in Nando, Umuezanam, and Omo communities of Anambra State. These systems alert the communities of rising water levels and help them to make plans for a timely evacuation of the danger zone. The project has also designed a perfect household and community rainwater harvesting scheme to help break the velocity of storm water, which is the potent force behind soil erosion. The initiative is expected to boost water conservation for domestic and agricultural uses.
So I think the federal government should not bring NEWMAP to an end. There should be NEWMAP 2, because they've been very helpful in dealing with the major wars. Nobody talks about Nanka and Oko today. These are major challenges. They're way beyond the resources of any state government in Nigeria. I'm sure even if it was Lagos State or Rivers State that are very awash with cash, they will struggle to deal with that.
All things considered, the story of NEWMAP in Anambra State may not be a perfect picture, but it certainly is a success story. It is a story of audacity and hope. It should serve as a model for future efforts to hold both man and nature to account, so that the soil of Anambra State may breathe again.